Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Tried to record this loads of times, but interruptions and my cold make this really annoying, so hopefully this is the last take I have to deal with it, otherwise I'm throwing my computer out the window. So we got a brand new album by Karnivool after 13 years. This is In Verses, and I've been looking forward to Karnivool so much because this is a band that has absolute legendary quality albums, such as Fermata and Sound Awake. These two albums, in my opinion, just kick ass, and if you want to explore Karnivool's discography, I think it's perfect to start from here, because you might notice a small decline personally, but I still think the quality of Karnivool's been high. Even Asymmetry, which is my least favourite of the first three albums, it's still pretty good. It's got some quality, fun Ian Kenny classic material, but it just doesn't quite keep the consistency and the very cool experimentation the band's most known for here. This album also went through a bunch of hell trying to write, because as I recall, they had a lot of an idea for a record. I don't know how far they got into it, and they just scrapped the album entirely, and they had to work on a new one. That kind of explains the reason why Karnivool haven't really had any material in a while. The only thing we had was a 2021 single called All It Takes, and I thought this would be a standalone song, like maybe they'll release a song once in a blue moon, but no, this was eventually going to be geared up to be a release on the brand new In Verses album only 5 years later, or 4 to 5 years later to be specific, and it's definitely a weird choice for a lead single, because I feel like the new songs we have on here as the singles definitely feel more like a single. All It Takes kind of has this feel that it's Karnivool, but then it's just shoved onto the album with a more mixed into the current sound and remastered feel, and I think that's fine. I don't think it's a bad inclusion. All It Takes is a good song, so it's nice to see it here, but yeah, I'm just surprised they put it on this album, if anything. But we have four new singles outside of that for this record. Drone, this is a highlight of the album for me. It's so catchy, so much fun, definitely a standout, and kind of reminds me a bit of the Sound Awake Asymmetry sort of sound. It's a very fun song. I like the elements they bring into this one. Ian Kenny's vocals here are just definitely fun as hell. Aozora, a very good song as well, very fun single. Back to back, these two are just absolute, like, really well crafted songs. A lot of fun prog into this one especially, and again I get a little bit of Leprous, which definitely takes me into the next single, Opal. This one really, pretty much reminds me of Leprous, and that's just mainly because it experiments with the all emotional impact. You get something kind of a calmer start, but then you get into the more energetic vocals, similar to what Einar Solberg kind of conducts with a lot of modern songs from their discography. I like these songs, but I don't think Opal is that strong. And then we had Animation, which I think this one's pretty cool. I think Animation is quite a highlight of the album as well. I think this is one of the standout tracks for me. I like this one quite a bit, but the standouts definitely are in the first half. I love Ghosts, I love Conversations, and even Reanimation has some cool ideas as well. These 6 songs kind of just bring out some really fun energy that I enjoy from Ian Kenny. It's very fun, very creative, some very good instrumentation. Conversations is an 8-minute banger, very good guitar work, and I just love the way it's all produced. It just has a very nice sound, although I do think in the mixing it's a bit quiet, because I've had to blast this out on my speaker, and I've had it on over volume 30, and normally 20 is often loud, so I don't know if it's just because of the speaker and it being clean. I don't know. I know obviously you can just change the volume up, but I don't really want to make it too loud, so I don't know why it's like that. But yeah, minus that, is actually really cool just to see a new Karnivool album. To be fair, I feel like the second half is where it kind of drops into weaker than Asymmetry territory. Remote Self-Control is just probably one of the weakest Karnivool songs in my opinion. I just don't really find anything memorable or that fun with it. It just kind of feels like it's pieced into the album, and that's it. It doesn't really have a core connection that just makes this one feel intricate, or it doesn't really have anything flashy or anything much going for it. It just kind of feels like a safe Karnivool song in my opinion, but there will definitely be people that think the opposite of that. I mentioned already Opal, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I don't think it's too bad either. Salva, I think it's a bit underwhelming for a kind of an end track. It doesn't quite have the conclusive feel to wrap this album up. But they kind of do this thing where it pauses for a bit and then goes into this kind of explosive bit of energy, and I do think it's cool, but I'm just not really like that phased by it either. It just kind of feels like it exists for me. The first half, as I said, is just the stronger part. I feel like they had the cool writing here. They just generally felt like they were writing fire, and I quite enjoyed it. I just feel like we get a pretty good first half, and then kind of like the last chunk or the last third or whatever you want to say isn't quite that strong, and I find it to be some of the weaker stuff the band's put in a while. I do feel like while Asymmetry does have moments like this where it kind of feels like weaker Karnivool, I feel like this is just kind of sharing into that as well. You get absolute good shit, but then you also kind of get some weaker points as well. And like Asymmetry, I probably put this on the same tier as it, probably the same ranking as well. I don't know if I prefer it to Asymmetry. It's definitely a nice breath of fresh air, but it's hard to say. I feel like I have to see if it grows on me, or if I prefer it to Asymmetry. I have no clue, but I feel like they're definitely the same tier, and if it's not really a step up or a step down, it just kind of feels like a continuation of new ideas, but it ends up being the kind of same quality as the last album. So not the worst thing ever. I feel like it's just not 100% the magic, very fun Karnivool feel I was expecting. Ian Kenny is talented as hell, and the quality of Karnivool has always been consistent. I don't really recall a bad song or one I skip. It's just a fun time. Definitely one of my favourite prog bands in the scene, and it's so nice to see a new album, but I'm not fully blown away by it either. It just kind of feels like it's a pretty good album, nothing more. It just kind of like, it basically surpasses for me. Not my expectations, but it's still a good album, and I guess that's all we can take away from it. So, final thoughts, I think I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5. I like Karnivool and I like what they're doing here, but I don't think this album was going to blow me away necessarily, as I just feel like the singles were a lot of the singles were the stronger tracks, with the exception of Opal. And while you did have some good stuff like Ghost in Reanimation, which that features Guthrie Govan, which I think is really cool. I think, yeah, that's definitely a feature that helps with the song. It brings some cool new talent to it. Yeah, it just kind of doesn't quite hit right afterwards. All it takes is still a good song, but I just feel like because this album went through hell trying to develop, and all it takes is kind of the only show of progress from it, it kind of feels like we're getting an album that's forced to sound like the rest of it, or no, a song to sound like the rest of the album, which isn't bad because it does fit, but yeah, I don't think these last 4 songs are that strong, to be honest. But that's all I have to say. Hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and I apologise for this cold.